We just need a name.
Yeah, we do need a name. We came up with some names, but they're not really. I don't know, man. They're just not hitting perfect.
Yeah, they are.
And the fact that it's two of us trying to come up with it, I probably would have decided already.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's your fault. It's definitely your fault.
How you see?
I don't know, because nothing's ever my fault.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a general thing. No, I think we'll come up with something and publish this one. But
We're both pretty determined on what kind of names have what kind of impact. So
yeah,
makes it hard to say which name is going to be the best name.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that big a deal.
No.
It's really what the content that we come out with and what we talk about and how interesting it is, or not interesting. I don't know. people may be like, "What are they? This is boring." What are we doing here?
We'll do what we can with it.
Yeah. So, what's been going on with you, Garrett, man? What's the last few days?
Well, we started
How's
school.
it going?
Started school last week. I think our last one we had done, we hadn't started school quite yet.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. I mean, you always have those teachers that don't exactly speak the best English, and you can't fully understand them how you want to. And it's weird at the beginning of the semester because you don't know what they're going to expect from you or how difficult it's going to be, how much work you're going to have to put in.
Yeah.
But I have a couple teachers that I've had before, and they're pretty lenient on, as far as making sure you're on top of your stuff 100% of the time. They give some room to work with, so that's good. Tutoring's getting really busy again. Have a lot of calls, pretty much. I mean, I would say at least 5 or 6 a day I'm making or receiving, making and receiving. Amiona and my administrative assistant, she's been making those calls to our previous clients, trying to offer them packages. We want to offer that to our returning clients that know what we do and the good work we put out. That's been working pretty good. We got probably about 15 or so appointments from just that.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 30 right now.
Yeah.
That's from just about 5, I think, the first 3 weeks of August. So huge improvement this week.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. School's back. Everybody wants or is going to need that help.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. Making some good progress. Trying to juggle everything, with school and open door, and then we're starting something together,
Yeah, doing a lot of work on that.
There's a lot of work to be put in, a lot to come.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the beginning of a business, especially when you know a little bit about the business and you know how to start it.
And what things to put in.
Yeah, you know all the steps you need to do, and you're trying to do them as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So we have kind of a hiccup of a big natural disaster coming to hit Florida. A big part of my business is going into those affected areas and helping the people out that need help with insurance claims and construction. And so we kind of are going to have to juggle doing our thing and pushing all those rocks up the hill at the same time that I'm not physically present all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what the demands are going to be after this storm, but they're usually pretty demanding, and I may have to stay out there for a while to get the job done.
Yeah.
So
I'll keep pushing things over here as much as I can.
Yeah.
If you want even, we'll talk about that later, but I was just going to talk about the office and everything. But I'll keep pushing stuff over here and making sure we're moving forward with that. Even when you're out, it's part of us being together. That's what's going to be necessary.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about the name of the podcast and this and that, and I was thinking about some different topics for us to talk about, and I kind of wanted to talk about something that happened over dinner the other night when myself and my wife went out to dinner with another couple, and they were talking about when they got introduced to each other in the night that it happened, and my wife was there, and the woman, my wife's friend, didn't really want to go to this bar. They had been out for a while. I guess they had been drinking, obviously, and she just wanted to go home. She didn't want to go out to this bar, the next bar. I think it was Marley's downtown. I don't know much about these bars. I don't really bar hop over here. But
how long ago was this?
Shoot, man, like it would have had to be like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You know, a
very
long
different
time ago.
now.
It had
Those
to have
bars.
been that long, maybe 8 to 10 years ago. I'm not sure, but anyway, they were talking about how she didn't want to go out, you know, and lo and behold, that's when they met, you know, when they essentially drug her to that bar, you
Yeah.
know, and then the guy told his side of what was going on with him that night, and how he was kind of struggling with finding the right person to do life with, and finding a life partner or somebody that he can spend his time with. And he was kind of discouraged, and he had actually saw her out at another bar that night and thought he missed his chance to talk to her.
Really?
Yeah. And so he was at this bar, and there she was again, and he went to go use the bathroom or something, and she sat down in his seat. And he came back, and she was there. And like, he took that as a sign, I got to talk to her. You know? But that got me thinking, and they're married. They've been happily married for a long time. They have 2 children, and they have one on the way. She's 3 months pregnant.
That's awesome.
And it just got me thinking of how serendipitous life is, you know? Because there's many things that could have happened that night that would have prevented them from actually developing that relationship and meeting.
Yeah.
And it just fascinates me how these little things happen in life that we're kind of unaware of. You know, they may not have even thought about it for years.
Yeah.
They may not have thought about it deeply until we had dinner and really started talking about it. I don't know.
Right.
But without that meeting, none of that could have happened. And in fact, you know, I potentially, or I wouldn't be sitting with both of them that day, 10 years later, at a restaurant having dinner.
Yeah.
So that moment that they met changed my life to a specific degree, whatever degree that is, because I've been out with them multiple times, and we have a good friendship with that couple.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just so crazy that one moment in your life can change the trajectory of your entire life.
I think they call that the butterfly effect.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever they call it, it's
Yeah.
just incredible to reflect on, because you don't know what's going to happen in your life, and you definitely don't know what the result of that is going to be.
Yeah.
There's no way to know. And we always want to try to control everything in our environment. And yes, you know, controlling what you can control is a valuable thing, and it is more likely to result in what you want to happen in your life by controlling the factors that you can. But there's so many things in life that are uncontrollable, and that's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, no amount of will necessarily made that meeting happen. Even if they both did want that secretly or had those thoughts before.
Right.
The will of the other person, or each of them individually, has to be aligned in some way for that to happen.
Yep.
And you can't control other people.
It's very
So
interesting.
it's really fascinating. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that I could think of you and I meeting. You know, you had said you had seen me 1,000 times.
Yeah,
at the gym
hundreds of
previous to
thousands of times. Me and Garrett met at the gym, and he just, I guess he stalked me on social media or
I
something
did not.
like that.
I had no idea what your name was.
Well, how'd you, or maybe we met and then you looked and then you started asking me about business. Because you started asking me about business, like, what do you do? You know, you're an attorney, you're a contractor. Like, what?
Yeah, well,
I remember that conversation more than anything.
I may have done that, because that is something, sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, you did it. I remember.
But a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll just walk up to people and ask them, you know, what do they do?
Yeah.
You know, in a friendly way, not just like, hey, what do you do?
Yeah.
The first question.
Hey,
how can I benefit from you?
Yeah.
But no, I there's certain people in the gym that I seek out, like, you know, usually somebody that's alone.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
somebody
they're easier to approach.
Yeah, exactly. They are.
You know what I mean?
You're not overwhelmed by, you know, a crowd of people that they have competing for your attention or anything.
Yeah.
Somebody that's alone. Somebody that kind of, you know, I remember you would come to the gym at just like random ass times, like 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and I was like, the fuck does this dude do that he's allowed to just come wherever he wants?
Yeah, whatever I want. That's the answer.
So that's what interested me, because I'd seen you a couple times too, and that I think I remember the exact spot where we met, right in front of the pec deck machine.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember most things about that meeting. But yeah, I mean, without that happening and without me, not to say forcing that situation, but making it happen.
Yeah.
We might not be here now recording this podcast and starting business together and doing all the other things we do together.
Yeah, we definitely wouldn't have. And you potentially, like that day, you could have felt insecure. You didn't want to go talk to anybody, or you just were kind of shut off. And you could have told yourself, I want to talk to that guy, but I don't feel like it, or something like that. In that moment could have determined your future actions, and you may never have done it after that because you felt guilty or less than because you didn't take that opportunity. I feel that way sometimes too. If I miss an opportunity, you have an inherent feeling that the opportunity's gone, even though it's not.
That's the exact reason I did it, actually.
Yeah.
Was because I was trying to force myself to get over that.
Yeah.
That fear of meeting new people and being able to talk to new people without feeling uncomfortable. And I still do. I still do feel uncomfortable every single time I walk up to a new person. Sure. But it's much less now. And, I was thinking, exactly that. Like, what is my future going to be if I meet this person? And at the time, I didn't really have a good plan for my future, a structured plan of what I wanted to do. It was kind of just, let me meet as many people as I can. Let me see what they are doing. Let me see what I might be able to do. Because I had no idea. I mean, for a while I was thinking aerospace engineering. And I kind of got away from that because I was like, man, I get into these huge companies that it's so hard to get into. They accept 0.1% of anybody that applies.
Yeah.
And then I'm still, not to say that it's all about money, but I'm still not going to be making what I would like to make in the next 5 years after I graduate. And after I kind of built that up in my head, I was like, I got to start just seeing what people do. Yeah. Nobody talks about all the different jobs you can have, all the different positions you can have in even those big companies, So that's why I felt it was important for me to put myself out there and see what people were doing, and that be at the front of my mind when I'm talking to new people at that time.
Yeah, that's how I got started ultimately, is just realizing that, that way of life, getting into some big company and working there and ultimately making that company a lot of money and doing the things that it wanted me to do was not for me. I didn't see that as a path to happiness in my life, given my disposition. And I started exploring different ways to make money and expanding my mind and understanding about business and how to make it on your own. Yeah. I wish, I think people definitely should do that more.
Well, it's definitely happening more now.
Yeah,
people are more exposed to it. Yeah, from the internet.
The internet gives people endless ways
for sure
to make money. It's and endless ways to structure their life in a way that flows happiness into it, rather than just more obligations and structure. Yeah, where the structure doesn't benefit them; it benefits someone else or some entity. You know. Yeah. Because if you're listening right now. And you don't know, there's endless ways to make money, Definitely. It's not all about just trying to make a lot of money. It's about lifestyle and figuring out something that works for you. And there's endless ways to do that. There's literally billions of ways to survive on your own, figure out your own path, make the kind of money that you want. All of them require different actions and sacrifices, and you got to figure out which one fits for you.
Yeah, and you can definitely do that by working for a company.
Yes, definitely.
It's not impossible at all. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But it's a different path for sure. It takes different. There's a different timeline to that. It's more of a linear timeline. Yeah.
You would think until you get laid off.
Yeah, that's true.
That line goes. It's
I'm
going
thinking of just a
horizontal.
consistent.
Yeah, it's going horizontal up, and then when you get laid off, the line disappears.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a problem. That's what baffles me so much is that you hear the stories about people getting laid off. They've been at a company for 25 years. Like,
Right.
how does that feel?
Yeah.
You're going along your day and putting all that work in, going to that job, expecting that job is always going to be there serving you financially.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's not as safe as you think it is.
Yeah.
It's not one false move or one thing happens with the company or one thing happens with the industry or a recession happens, anything like that can change that entire world for you. And if you don't have a backup to that, or if you aren't thinking independently enough,
Right.
that's when it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have these other things that you can do, these other activities that will help you survive and provide for your family, all of these things, it's a problem.
Yep.
So there's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees in anything you do, whether you own your own business or you're a freelancer or you're an independent contractor or an entrepreneur,
Yep.
or just a worker.
Yep.
There's no guarantees, and there's no the blanket of safety is an illusion.
Yeah. It is.
In all of it,
Mm-hmm.
unless you have enough money. If you have enough money, I can guarantee you, if you have enough money, I'm talking about a lot of money, you can sleep a little bit better at night.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, that's really the only, blanket of security I can think of, and it's got to be a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
because things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you have a lot of money and you're doing business and you're throwing it around and investing it in things.
Mm-hmm. Anything can happen. It's just a matter of what angle you want to take to what angle you believe is going to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Right now or in the long run. However long you're willing to wait.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to wait no matter what. You're gonna have to work countless hours before you get to where you want to be, likely, unless you're just happy with doing the basic thing.
Right. And again, nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Gary Vee is the guy that really champions that cause. If you work a job and you make a little bit of money and you just don't have a lot of expenses, and that's the way you want to live, and that's what makes you happy, and you have a lot of free time on the weekends, and nobody's calling you, asking you for things, that's your prerogative. We live in America. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. If that works for you, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just sad when people don't feel that way, but continue to do it.
Right.
I guess for lack of belief in themselves or initiative, to at least try to figure something else out when they know deep down that that the life that they're living is not something that they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all fall into little micro traps of that, I would say.
Definitely.
But some people sacrifice years and years of their life in that same mode.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is. It is. But what can you do? You can only control yourself.
I don't know. Yeah, that's right. You can only control yourself, and you can't control everything that happens to you, all of these external factors like we talked about. So what are you to do?
Yeah.
Just got to keep going.
Yeah, keep going, keep having a plan, and keep working at it until it doesn't work, or you got to modify the plan.
Yeah. Just like everyone says, you can't lose if you don't quit.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
You may not be some, weird billionaire after being in business for a couple of years, obviously, but as long as you continue to go and you continue to grow, you continue to better yourself personally, and work on discipline and work on putting those actions in place that are good for you, you can't lose. It may take you longer, but you're not going to lose. You just have to keep going no matter what.
Yep.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
That is easier said than done.
Definitely. Yeah. I was, I told you this, I emailed you late at night.
Yeah.
Probably a week ago or so.
I remember.
And, I was just emailed you. I was like, hey, I can't get to bed right now.
You had to get something off your plate.
Yeah, I needed to talk about something. So I just emailed, started typing some stuff out. And, at night, I have trouble getting to bed in general, just being able to fall asleep. And the thing that I was going through my head at that moment was just feeling like I didn't do enough that day, or I wasn't doing what I should be doing. I'm not working as hard as I should be. And that really, I know in my head that's not true. I worked hard that day. I got stuff done. I did what I need to do. But for whatever reason, I just felt like, I'm not absolutely 100% exhausted right now.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do more?
Yeah.
And I think, that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
When you're just talking about it to yourself in your head, it's more of like we were talking about, just like some kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. It's not string together thoughts that make sense. It's just a feeling you have in your head. Mm-hmm. And when I'm feeling like that, I try to just say words to try to categorize my emotions. And the word that felt like it fit was feeling worthless. Yeah. Which is that's not true at all. I'm 21 years old. I have a lot ahead of me. I've done a lot already, or, I would say relatively. Yeah. And that doesn't apply to me at all. I'm not worthless at all.
No, you're not.
But for whatever reason, that's just what I had in my head. It was, when I graduate, what are they going to say about me? Yeah. I'll have a good grade, a good GPA. Yeah. And, but I want it to be more, Everybody else, 50% of the class is going to have those kind of grades. How am I any different? Mm-hmm. I have a business, and I'm starting this with you now, the roofing and restoration. Mm-hmm. But I have no idea where that's going to go. I have no idea if it's worth it to me. I think it will be. Yeah. But I can't make 100% of that. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what worries me is comparing myself to other people and saying, I need to be absolutely exhausted every single day. I need to be outworking everybody to make sure I want to get to where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's doubt, man. And it's the devil. Yeah. I'm a faithful guy. And when I feel those feelings, I know that there's some force inside of me or trying to get to me that is negative. And the overall feeling is doubt. Yeah. And everybody has doubt, and feeling extreme feelings of doubt is in many ways a sign that you're on the right path. Yeah. Because if you're not doubting yourself or not questioning whether you're doing the right things or whether you're in the right place or taking the right action, you're probably not putting yourself in an uncomfortable position where you can grow. Yeah. Growth happens in very uncomfortable situations for individuals. Mm-hmm. If you're too comfortable, you can't grow. There's no reason to grow. It's just like fitness when we're in the gym and we're building our muscles or trying to put so much strain on our muscles that they grow, get bigger, but more vascular, whatever you're trying to do, or just get more in shape or more capable of doing more physical activity. It's the exact same thing. If you didn't put pressure on your muscles, you'd never grow. Yeah. And that's the exact same thing. Yeah. When I feel like, and I saw something, who was it that said it the other day, or it was just a piece of content. I think it was, I was actually, what's that guy's name?
It's related, but different content. It was Oppenheimer. I watched this weekend. Oh yeah. And the main scientist, Oppenheimer, he went to his friends and said, I have this child. He's newborn. My wife can't take care of him. I can't right now at this point in my life. I'm about to go to Nevada and build a fucking atomic bomb. Right. Basically. And he was saying, yes, we're terrible people. I can't believe we're doing this. And his friend was like, the fact that you're considering yourself terrible people makes it known that you are not terrible people. Yeah. And I think the same can be applied to what I was talking about. Feelings of worthiness, feeling like I didn't work enough. Yep. That's not true. It's the exact opposite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, I feel the feelings all the time. I question, I put months of work into specific things, and I'm like, I don't see the results. And some things that I do take, years to see a big result. Right. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? Like, am I doing it right? I could be wasting my time
Yeah.
doing so many things. And I try to listen to as many mentors and people who have been in that situation before, but I can't know that every action that I'm taking will yield a result. I want it to, but I can't control it, and I don't know. So I have doubt. I have doubt that I'm doing the right things. Even if I'm working very hard or taking a lot of action in a specific place, I have no way of knowing whether I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
And when you don't see those results day in and day out,
Right.
it's hard to know or believe in the plan that you put in place, months or years ahead of time. So you have to just believe in yourself and keep going and keep working at it, and understand that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And even if it doesn't yield some sort of financial reward or career reward or anything like that, by virtue of the journey that you are on and the trajectory that you put yourself in, you will benefit because you'll grow. Your personal growth, usually your net worth or how much money you have is very directly related to your personal growth.
Yep.
So while I can't control the financial benefit from some of the business moves that I take, I know that at the end of the day, as long as I'm continuing to better myself, I'm on the right track.
Yep.
And I think that's what people lose sight of, because it is hard to do that. That's why most people don't do it. It's hard to just keep going no matter what the results are.
Yep.
And that's the only way to do it.
You have to. Well, I played football my freshman year.
Yeah, it was short-lived, right?
Didn't learn a lot.
How long did you play football, Garrett?
1 year.
Did you finish the full year?
I didn't.
Did you
step foot in the
Did you
game.
go all the way though?
I finished the season.
Okay, full season.
All
right.
I worked out the next summer.
You gave it a full season.
But
that's good.
one thing that I did learn from that experience that I've kept in my head from the coaches over there,
Yeah.
is you're either learning or winning.
Yeah.
There's no real failures. You're just learning or winning.
Yeah, that's good. That's interesting.
So you got to kind of change, the way that you look at it. If you see yourself at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, at the end of the year, whatever it is, if you didn't get to where you wanted to be, it's just a learning process. You didn't fail.
Right. You
just learned that year.
That's right. It's so hard to accept that. Everyone wants to be winning all the time.
Yeah.
I want to be winning all the time, but the real goal should be learning all of the time, because if the more you learn, the more you win. It's the same thing as focusing on the result rather than the journey.
Right.
But it's just hard to accept in a real way where you are, and that, okay, I may have thought I was winning in this space, but I wasn't even close.
Yeah.
I need to learn, and I've got to backtrack and really take the steps that other people have laid before me to get where I want to go in a specific space.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
It is.
But you have to do it. Otherwise, you just give up.
It's very hard
just give up.
in the exact moment. We're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't doubt that tonight I'm going to be the exact same way. Of thinking, maybe I didn't do enough today.
Yeah.
Just because in that moment, in the exact moment that you're feeling that, it's very hard to convince yourself otherwise.
Right.
That what you're doing is good and you're making progress.
Yeah. Well, I think the best thing that I've done in that space, when you're feeling doubt, when you feel like you're questioning what road you're on, whether or not you're on the right road or taking the right steps, is gratitude and understanding that where you are is a good place, and you have more going for you than many other people.
Yeah.
There's so many people in this world that have problems, issues, handicaps, physical or mental, and there's just no space to complain about where we are, especially being in America. America is different than all the other countries. It's a free space where you can be yourself. You need to exercise that muscle that all of our founders and our soldiers gave to us. By not exercising that muscle and understanding that you are in a good space, you disgrace them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You
true.
know?
Yeah. I mean, gratefulness, I think, is a thing that everybody struggles with, or at least I know myself.
Yeah.
But
Everybody
there was,
does.
I know you don't like music a whole lot or like into music.
I
a
love
ton.
music.
You
I
listen
love
to
music.
house music 90% of the
It's
time.
because a lot of the stuff out there just isn't good
Well,
here.
let me get you on some stuff.
I like house music.
You
It's
like-
instrumental. I can just zone out to it. Just boom, boom, boom.
Do you
and
like
think about
country?
what I want. I do like country. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's. You
I
probably
cried
heard
to
of
a
them.
Dolly Parton song the other day.
Well, I cried.
It
to
was
a
a small cry. It wasn't. It was kind of like just a, you know.
Yeah, this weekend, one of my favorite artists, Zach Bryan, he's a country singer.
Yeah.
Released a new album, and the first, you probably wouldn't even call it a song. It's a poem.
Mm-hmm.
But in the poem, he talks a lot about being grateful.
Yeah.
One of his lines is, "I will not fear tomorrow because I feel as if today has been enough."
Yeah.
That song, the first 3 times I listened to that,
Yeah.
I had tears. I mean, I don't know what it was. He's a really good singer, but there was no singing involved. It was just a couple strums and the poem,
Yeah.
and that was enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been feeling more grateful lately because of that. I would say that brought me out and maybe remember what that feeling is like.
Yeah. Yeah. Worry and fear. There's no reason to do that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And everybody does it.
Mhm.
So it is what it is. It's a human thing.
Yep.
We all experience it, but I think being grateful and showing gratitude and understanding some of the other things that we've talked about today help you get past that.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of rejection, the fear of other people's opinions of you will tear you down if you don't keep it in check, obviously.
Yeah.
And I try to think about that all the time, in everything that I do, because I have had moments in my life where I truly felt, fearless,
Yeah.
or I felt like I didn't care about what anybody thought about what I was doing, or, what actions I was taking. And I remember the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the specific instances. I don't know necessarily what I was doing.
Right.
Maybe it was speaking in front of people. Maybe it was these things that I have gotten over time in my past. But those feelings where you feel weightless
Yeah.
after those things happen is because you are in real time getting over those fears and feeling what it feels like to be yourself, to be an unapologetic version of who you are, no matter what the consequences are, or what anybody is thinking about you. And there's nothing better than that. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
So we need to be thinking about that all the time. We need to think about what positions do we need to put ourselves in to create that feeling over and over and over again, and exercise that muscle to where you can be that way all the time.
Yeah.
And don't think about what other people think. If other people want to disparage you, they can do that, and you welcome it, and it does not have an effect on you because you're just living yourself.
Yeah.
You're living your life and doing the things that you think are necessary to live a fulfilled life. And I think about that all the time because I'm scared of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm scared of this. I'm scared of what this person's going to think about me in this business situation, or how people, what they think about my career path, or how much money I have, or all these things. And when I let go of those things, I feel the best.
Yep. One of the other lines in the poem actually that hit me pretty hard was, "I've ridden in fear, even though I was afraid every single time."
Yeah. You
just
can't
gotta- You can't get rid of the fear.
I
It
don't
doesn't
believe.
just
Yeah,
go away.
that's right.
You have to just get past it.
Yeah.
Keep on pushing.
Yeah.
Even though you are fearful.
And the only way to do that is to practice it.
Yep.
And to do it all the time. Everybody's different. Everybody has different emotions, but everybody feels fear. Everybody feels doubt. But you have to practice getting over that consistently in every area of your life
Yep.
if you want to be truly free and happy. You're not free if you are constantly thinking about what other people think about you.
Right.
No matter how much money you have, how big your house is, what kind of car you drive, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're constantly worried about what other people think about you, you are in a prison cell,
Yeah.
for the most part.
I agree.
No matter what, people may be impressed with those things, or you may think that, but you really don't even know. You don't even know what anybody is thinking about you. It's just it's a prison cell of your own making.
Yeah. again, it doesn't matter what everybody else is thinking,
Yeah.
because the only thing that matters is the way that you're feeling inside.
Yeah.
You can't live life happily if you're just feeling like you're in a prison cell all the time. Even
Right.
if you're not being honest with yourself and saying that to yourself and making yourself find that key to get out of the prison cell,
That's right.
you know, you've got to be able to confront yourself with that.
Yeah. Well, you got to be real. And the person that may be feeling those feelings and worrying about those things, the key to getting out of that or any of these scenarios, in my opinion, is understanding those scenarios first off intellectually and understand what's going on inside of you, inside of your brain, inside of your emotions. All of those things, you have to understand it, and you have to understand where you are in a real place. You know, you can't fabricate, you can't lie to yourself, you know. There's no way, I'm convinced that there's no way to lie to yourself. People say, well, he's lying to himself. He's not really. His actions are showing that he's lying to himself because he's contradicting what you believe or something like that. But at the end of the day, in the deepest part of people's insides, their hearts, their subconscious minds, they can't get away from it. You'll never get away from it. You have to confront yourself, who you are in a real way, and take a full accounting of where you are so you can take the steps to practice those things that we're talking about to get out of those places. And and a real and true accounting of yourself is the first step. And that's hard.
That takes a lot of emotional intelligence to realize that for yourself and to understand that about yourself. Because like I said, you know, when I was laying in bed at night, I just had this feeling, just some random string of thoughts that didn't make any sense. But once you start consciously thinking about it in your head and trying to put a name to those things, it starts to that's what being honest with yourself is. And that's what emotional intelligence, I think, is being able to communicate those things not only to yourself but to other people. And it's easier to communicate with other people about that stuff in a real conversation that's flowing and there's a thought process to it.
It's emotional maturity as well. Because if you're impatient, or if you haven't taken these steps over years to realize where you are, you've been lying to yourself for a long time, or you've been trying to. You know, so backtracking, the same thing that we talked about earlier, where you have to kind of backtrack and take those steps backwards so you can go forward. That's the hard part. You know, but anybody can do it, no matter where you're at. No matter where you're at in life, you can stop what you're doing. You can understand where you are, and take a true accounting of yourself so that you can confidently step forward and be the person that you were made to be, that you were meant to be, that makes you the happiest and everyone around you the happiest. At any stage in your life, you can do that.
90 years old or 10 years old.
It doesn't matter. You know. So we went through a lot of stuff there. You know,
we did. Hey Ben, what time are we at right now?
35.
Okay. Cool.
It's about 2:05.
I got
Central Standard Time.
I don't even know if, I mean, we might have mentioned it once or twice, I guess, but if we're actually publishing this one, people need to know where we're from.
Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
But there's nothing special about that place.
Louisiana boys, just like Theo Vaughn. He's a popular guy.
Theo Vaughn. I only know a lot of comedians, but I think Mark Norman is another one.
I don't know him.
He's from New Orleans, which Theo kind of is too. But Lafayette, Louisiana.
Lafayette.
That's where we at.
If you don't know about Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana is kind of the gemstone of Louisiana. It's the best. Okay, it is. It's almost undisputed. You can think that New Orleans is cool because of the history, but Lafayette, as far as living in a place that promotes happiness and independence, I think Lafayette is the place in Louisiana.
So we're in Acadiana, just this general region we call. And
Cajun country.
Yeah.
Even though we all are not necessarily Cajun.
Probably about, what, like 10 to 15 different parishes that are considered Acadiana.
Yeah, yeah.
Lafayette, Louisiana is the hub city
Yeah.
of Acadiana. That's why it's called Hub City.
Oh, nice. What does that mean, though?
Like
the hub?
Exactly.
Like the main place?
Right.
Not surprising.
The center spot.
Yeah. Yeah, Lafayette is a cool place. It's not a huge metropolitan area, but it has plenty of room to be able to breathe and to move around. But it does have good attractions and pretty good entertainment. We get good people in here to entertain, good singers, things like that. We have good festivals, very good festivals. There's always, seemingly every month at least, there's something around the Acadiana area that has some sort of festival about it, usually surrounding food. It's Louisiana.
We have Festival International, which is a huge thing. People come from all over the world to get into that spot. Bands, people,
food. Yeah, that's a good pool too.
We got Top Golf coming up.
Yeah,
to give you an idea of
to give you an idea of how cool Lafayette is and how much of a good economy it is. Top Golf being built right now by Costco. Okay. I think there's a Costco in New Orleans, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's Costco.
There's not one in Lake Charles. The only real areas of Louisiana that matter are around I-10 and south of that. A lot of the people say in Louisiana that anything above I-10 isn't really Louisiana. I'm one of those guys. I say that. Shout out to the Alexandria folks, and the Shreveport peeps. Yeah. But it's a little bit different over there.
It's basically Arkansas up there.
Yeah, it's like South Arkansas. But yeah, I-10 runs laterally across the southern part of the state. You've got New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Lake Charles. Lake Charles, most famous for the big hurricane that hit it a couple of years ago. Basically, yeah. Lake Charles gets slammed with hurricanes. That's where I'm from. But yeah, Louisiana is a good spot. I've thought about moving for business a lot of times, but me and my wife really like it here. I feel like Lafayette would be one of those places where you go off to the metropolitan city and you get sick of it and then you come back,
Yeah, it's very possible.
So I'm kind of at this stage, just skipping that step and just staying here.
I'm going to go ahead and experience that wherever I go.
Yeah. Well, you're much younger,
Yeah. I'm planning on going to Colorado as of now, at least.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, my girlfriend Grace, she's planning on going to med school or some kind of professional school after college. We go to college over here at University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Yeah.
But once we both graduate, we plan to go to Colorado. Experience what that's like, being so far away from home and not having anybody else around, and just experiencing a new place, new weather patterns. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, it's very different over there.
But
it's cool though.
We'll probably go to Fort Collins, which is it's 30 minutes north of Denver. And we might even go to Denver. I'm not 100% yet, but I want to be around a big city. And Denver, it's definitely a big city
for sure.
But it doesn't feel as if it's just this massive place like maybe Austin or New York or something like that would feel like. It feels pretty homey for a big city.
Yeah. I haven't spent too much time in metropolitan, Denver or like those areas. I've been a few times, obviously, but I haven't put a lot of time into there. I've been in the mountains more.
Really nice. It's very calm.
Yeah. We've got good food there, I know.
Yeah, even compared to like downtown Lafayette.
Yeah.
Like when I go to downtown Lafayette, I don't feel safe. I feel like I always have to be watching around and making sure there's no sketchiness going on. But in Denver, I feel that to an extent, but I maybe saw 2 or 3 homeless people. You see just as many in Lafayette.
Maybe because it gets so cold, freezes them out.
Possibly so.
It's hard to survive in a snowstorm in a tent.
Besides just the homeless people, all the bars are really nice. All the food is really cool. It's all just kind of walk in, and, explore, and it feels very safe.
Yeah,
I would say
that's good. Yeah, I like Colorado.
Yeah, we're excited about that. We're going to go and experience it. If we don't like it, there's always a time to move. We're very young, so whatever happens. But I think it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And it's just experiencing different places is cool. You know,
definitely.
it expands your mind, expands your network, and the kind of people you hang out with, and it changes you. So it's all good. You know, I love traveling for that reason. Just seeing different places, meeting new people, and it's awesome.
Yeah, gives you a different perspective on what you're doing back home.
Yeah, I wish Louisiana had more money though.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Golly, dude. Like, I don't know. I guess it's the government, the state government for the most part. I mean, I don't try to get all up in politics all the time. I don't really have time to think about that, to be honest with you. But man, it just struggles, man. It's like 48th for business or something. I mean, I feel like Louisiana is pro-business. I own a business. I own multiple businesses, and I'm not really I don't feel like, you know, somebody's foot's on my neck or something, like maybe if you go to California or New York City or something like that, and you're trying to do real estate or something with the taxes. There is income taxes in Louisiana and property taxes, unlike Texas, places like Texas. But I don't know. There's just not a lot of money here.
Yeah, education is one area that's really, really far behind. Also, I mean, compared to other states, I'm in a couple different groups on Facebook and everything, and I have open door tutoring, so I'm in the education field. And I see all the time people commenting about grants they're getting in other states, and it's like, we don't have any of that. I've never seen anything about that.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors, I don't know if this is true or not, that UL is going bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, like I said, it's just a rumor. But I mean, they're still building up and everything. It doesn't seem like they are.
Yeah.
If you look at it just up front.
Yeah.
But I know Grace, she's one of the girls on the dance team, is the more or less the treasurer of UL.
Really?
I don't remember exactly who told me that UL was going in that direction, but I think it might have been her or one of her friends, possibly.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All I know is that if I get stuck on the I-10 bridge near Baton Rouge again, I'm going to jump off it. That's what I know. I'm so sick of going to I don't get it. I don't know if anybody's listening to this. Please get that under control. Like, it's one thing. All you have to do is expand that little area when you're going westbound on I-10 and going into Baton Rouge. You go over the bridge, and then it goes down to one lane. Why? I-10 is like the corridor.
Dude, you switch from Louisiana roads to Texas, and it's a whole different story.
Of course.
It's like stepping into a new world.
Yeah, I know. And they're working on the I-10 roads, but until you fix that bottleneck, nothing will change.
Yeah,
it will always be a complete nightmare. Everyone is going to have to deal with that. If there's anything going on, if somebody sneezes too loud, you're in an hour of traffic. It's crazy, man.
It is. It's stupid.
That's the one thing that I always go back to, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't get it. It's one thing.
I don't go to Baton Rouge often, and if I am going in that direction, I just take 90.
Yeah, but you have to go to New Orleans to do that.
Yeah.
You can't take 90 to Baton Rouge. So if you have a meeting in Baton Rouge or you're going to an LSU game, you have to go on that damn bridge.
Yep.
And it's a hurt locker, you know?
You got to really plan out what time you're going if you want to make it an hour, which would be the optimal time.
That's right. That's right. But anyway, that's just a microcosm of an example of what's going on in Louisiana, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, on a more positive note, you know, what else we got going on, you know?
Well, we started Color Wheel. We can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. We started a construction brand called Color Wheel. Color Wheel will do roofing projects for people in Louisiana. It'll do water restoration, specifically water mitigation. When structures take on water, we'll take that water out. We'll take all the affected building materials that need to be thrown out, demolition those materials in a very clean way, and ultimately dry the structure and prevent secondary damage. That's the main purpose. That's what we do. And I think construction in Louisiana is good. I think that it's a good market. I think that there is room for new good companies. I look at construction as a revolving door. You know, I was listening to a podcast. No, I was listening to a book the other day about startups, and it was basically talking about monopolistic businesses that are a monopoly or have control of one product or service that nobody else does.
Yep.
And obviously that's really the cream of the crop of businesses that you want to own as a business owner, obviously. But every other business that's not that way is a competitive business. Mm-hmm. And you know, as I was listening to that, I was like, man, I want to own one of these monopolies. Like, how do I do that, right? But the more I thought about it, with respect to what I was already in my mind planning for this new construction brand, I was thinking about the industry, construction as a whole. And for the most part, I'm of the belief that it is recession-proof to a certain extent, mm-hmm. especially if you do storm damage or storm mitigation, those types of services. But even beyond that, even beyond storms that affect structures that need repair after damage, construction itself is just a revolving door. Companies go in and out of business all the time. The mm-hmm. brands that you think are very good or they're long-standing brands, most of them go out of business at some point. So there's always room for good actors to enter into that space. Mm-hmm. So some go out, some come in, and then there's an equilibrium inside of that, a competitive equilibrium where the most competitive and the ones doing the service the right way ultimately prevail.
Yep.
You know, so I wouldn't say that it's the best industry to be in, because if you own a monopoly, obviously that's going to make you more money.
Yeah.
As long as it's scalable and it's that type of business, which is usually tech businesses these days. Right. But at the same time, you know, ain't nobody can just wait around here, you know, waiting for a brilliant idea to create a monopoly.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what a startup is likely, is a tech company. They get the investors to come on and they have a plan to go forward. They have the teams to make it happen, and you know, you have the investors invest, and they're not making money for the first 10 years.
Many years, yeah.
But once they start get that money rolling in, it's a stupid amount.
It changes the world.
Yeah.
So that's more like creation.
Yeah, that is what a startup is.
It's creating something new, as opposed to making something that is existing work better with better business processes. Yep. So the creation aspect in business is awesome. You know, I love hearing about it. I desire to come up with something like that, but at the same time, it's not as easy as just having a business that is already established and following principles within that business and doing them better, or potentially better than the competition.
And I mean, you could even say that you might have those ideas come from the knowledge of your industry, construction. Mm-hmm. There could be some spaces where you want to build a robot to automatically install shingles, whatever it is.
But that's also improving on something that is already done. That's not creating something new.
That's true. Yeah. But it doesn't exist automatically. It has labor involved.
Creating something where people don't need a roof would be creating
that would be
something.
Crazy.
That's revolutionary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Creating a robot that replaces labor is just doing something faster and potentially cheaper if you do it the right way and you maintain that equipment.
Yes, but you could consider that a startup if you had that process down. And
for sure.
Monopoly would be different.
That's innovation.
Right, right.
Innovation is taking something that is already being done and improving upon it. Yeah. Creation and innovation is different. Mm-hmm. You can innovate by creating, but they are exclusive events depending on the application of those words.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like inventing a piece of tech that changes the world, that's creation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like the iPhone.
Right.
That's undisputed. That changed the world. That changed everything.
Yeah. One of the
very interesting.
One of the more exciting exciting aspects of getting into business with you.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit the other day. Is just how fast we move together.
Yeah.
I really enjoy working with somebody that knows what they need to get done and gets it done right then and there.
Yeah.
Instead of just, end of the week,
Yeah.
it'll be done.
Yeah.
Which not to say that I don't have those people around me,
Yeah.
but I feel very comfortable and excited knowing that you are that kind of person
Yeah.
to keep moving forward, keep pushing hard
Yeah.
whenever it needs to happen.
I appreciate that you look at me that way.
Yeah, I do. And I hope to be that way myself.
You are.
I feel as
You're
if I am, but I always consider that I have room for improvement in every space. So
I do too.
but I'm very excited about that. That's the reason I think I'm most excited about that. I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn and take those skills wherever I go, whether it's with you and I or with me and myself.
Yeah.
But I think that what I'm most excited about is just being able to work with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun.
It is going to be good. I don't have anybody that works with me necessarily. I have some very good people that work with me, but you're a little bit different, what's most impressive about you is that you do what you do at your age, and a lot of that has to do with just some sort of maturity that you somehow acquired at some point. Before I was involved, you were just ready to take the step.
Yeah.
Most people at your age aren't ready to take those steps, and you were. So I'm excited too. It's gonna be a lot of fun,
Thank you, Poe.
But anyway, are we nearing the end? Do you think?
Probably. What time
Yeah.
are we at, Ben?
It's
Under
yeah.
an hour?
Let's wrap it up.
All right.
Good session 4. Is it the
Session
4th time we
4
really did
of
something?
unpublished.
Yeah.
Might be published.
Yeah, we're gonna we're publishing this. Coming to a screen near you.
Name
no matter
unknown
what.
quite yet.
I don't know what we're gonna call this thing, and I tell you, it doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is the content that we create, and hopefully it's helping people who might be listening to this. I'm sure there's one person that's going to watch this. If that's you, I hope that it helped you. I hope that you thought a little bit about your situation, and maybe some of the words that we gave you today, enlightened how you think about your situation. Because you can always change your situation, and you can always change yourself. You just have to understand yourself and take the steps to do it. All of the information is there, but the most important thing you can do is take the step in the right direction. And don't stand still. That's it. Just keep going, keep moving forward, and you're going to be all right. So thanks for that one person that's watching.
Very well said.
We
Poe.
appreciate you.
Very well said.
We'll see you next time.